A bend in the road is not the end of the road unless you fail to make the turn. Helen Keller. My friends, we just keep plowing ahead each and every day, 10 to 15 minutes, and I urge you, it needs to be every day. If you just hit this once or twice a week and you come up with excuses, I'm too tired, I'm too busy, I could say that every single day, but I don't. Besides the trading that I do, I record this show for you guys. If I can do this, you can do this. And again, thank you so much, Patreon members, for your support in underwriting the costs of the channel. Now let's jump into these charts. We see stocks and bonds are down, gold and Bitcoin are up. Bitcoin up another 4+%. Let's jump into the S&P down 0.09%, so a little less than 0.1%. But as we start the week off, it's somewhat weak. We see a red volume. What does red volume mean? It just means that the opening was lower than the prior close, which again is significant and interesting to see. We saw that on the doji back on the week of January the 2nd, after things ran up through Christmas, stalled, and then started over. Well, let's see where this takes us this week. Look at all the volume. Now you can see that volume was really on Friday. This is the 2-day chart I'm looking at now. Higher than average volume. We look at the high, and of course it was the most recent high, the high for the market. That happened for the S&P, that happened on Friday. This 2-day candle, of course, encompasses Friday and Monday, so don't let that fool you. Always look into things. That's why we give you the intraday chart, 195 minutes, because again, the market is open right from 9:30 until 4. That means that each half day is 195 minutes. It's not 4 hours. That's why we don't use the 4-hour chart. So what we have, of course, seen is things popped up high on Friday morning, started rolling over Friday afternoon and down on Monday. But as we see things on the half-day chart sitting just above that weekly trend line, we can see the same thing a little bit further above it on the 2-day chart. And again, trying to push through it on the weekly chart. So we'll keep an eye on things as we continue to move throughout the week. We are still long the S&P. Now the NASDAQ pushing through. We've got a red down candle right now, red volume. We can see all this heavy volume on the 2-day chart with what? A spinning top, which means lots and lots and lots of indecision. It is almost a doji, my friends, as we look at it. And again, we can see the last 3 candles. So the last 6 days were spinning tops. And we will keep our eye on things to see if indeed this 2-day, like the weekly, drops below. Now remember, we don't pull the trigger on a down trade until the end of the week. Now, if indeed it remains negative. Now, when can you pull your up trade? If you've been riding this long, you can pull it the minute it breaks through your trend line. Don't think I'd recommend that necessarily, because if you look back before when we were drawing trends, we got really close to it intra-week back there on February the 20th. Depending on where you actually attach that trend line, you could have found yourself in about the position we're in now. So again, don't be too hasty, but you don't want to be late either, but you've done really good on this trade so far. So let's keep this thing going, pay close attention, and let's see where it continues to head for us. That is where we are as far as stocks go. Now let's move from stocks to bonds. Oh, and by the way, the NASDAQ 100 down 0.37%. So again, almost 0.4%, so not even 0.5%. Let's look at 20-year bonds. They're down 0.05%. Not a lot of volume to start the week off. But again, as we look at bonds, we saw them, bottom out back on the week. The most recent bottoming back on the week beginning the 20th of February. Then a spinning top the week beginning the 26th of February. Last week, a green candle moving up. This week starting off with a green candle. Now again, these are Heikin-Ashi candlesticks. We can see on this half-day chart where we've had pretty much dojis or spinning tops Tons of indecision on Friday and Monday morning and moving down Monday afternoon. We can see on the 2-day chart, we don't have high volume, and we have, of course, the past topper being there on Wednesday, Thursday. You can actually look here and see it was Thursday morning. Since then, just spinning tops or dojis. So bonds are weakening, but the average pace is showing us that things, of course, as we start this week off, are trying to move up as far as the average pace on the Heikin Ashi. So we will keep an eye on that. Again, bonds have not given us a lot to help. The only thing we really had high volume-wise is where we had a green spinning top on the week beginning the 29th of January, where things popped up and then died and then moved down for 3 weeks. And now we're going to the third week of things trying to move up. So we're indecisive on bonds. Now gold. Again, gold not helping us a whole lot out with volume. We got close to average on that red down candle beginning the week of February 12. Then things turned around and really accelerated last week. Super high volume to a high on gold of 203.30 this week. Starting off, gold up a little bit for the day, but overall the high was 202.41. So we hadn't hit the high of last week yet. We do have a good green up candle moving. We see on the 2-day chart as things have been stroking up ever since we blew through, of course, our ceiling here at gold at that 191.36 mark. It has just taken off, has it not? It's just been absolutely beautiful. We saw it pushing through on Friday morning, the 1st of March, then Friday afternoon, the 1st of March, and really has hardly slowed down since. So we are long gold, of course. What do we see going on with Bitcoin? Up 4.06% on the Bitcoin ETF. That is HODL, put up by the same people who, for the chart we followed for years, XBTF, after they closed that. And of course, we see Bitcoin starting off the week quite nicely, just continuing to stroke it up. And of course, we look at the 2-day higher highs. Bitcoin just beautiful. How high are we? Well, went all the way up to $82.67 is the high. And again, on the 2-day chart, well above that weekly trend line, half-day chart well above. Let's check out the 24-hour-a-day Bitcoin chart, and you can see Bitcoin hit a high of $72,910. And to think when this move started off, opening around 41,000, almost doubled in value. 45%. Just amazing how much we have seen things climb. Just beautiful. So as we see things just continue to move up, again, we look at now we finally, it is beautiful that we are able to use, of course, well, wait a second. I'm getting these charts confused. As I told you, it's just starting here on the 2-day chart. We're finally starting to get some average volume. We've had it for a while on the half day, but it's so tiny that's not helping us out a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we're going into the 10th week. We need another 10 weeks because, again, our volume is 20 periods. So it'll start up soon enough. It'll be here before you know it. And then we'll be able to get away from this 24-hour-a-day chart that's not exactly the same thing, but it helps us see how much Bitcoin's surging regarding volume. And that does assist us overall because, of course, our Bitcoin is tracking Bitcoin. Our Bitcoin is the ETF that only trades during market hours. So again, it is different, but as long as we've been trading it, we've seen it follow suit fairly accurately. I mean, no reason. And again, you might say, Tom, why don't you just track regular Bitcoin? I'll tell you why. Because if you're going to, again, if you want to put your money in a Bitcoin exchange after you saw what happened with XTF and others, and you want to trust it there, or if when you actually do start trading, not practice trading, you would like the safety of using a market ETF that trades, on your regular online broker. I mean, we're talking about, TD Ameritrade or whoever it is, Schwab, whoever it is that you might be dealing with, and you can deal with it in the open market like a stock. I would much rather have that safety. And again, I know Bitcoin surges back and forth, but I'm not worried about anybody stealing my Bitcoin. So we're not a stock calling service, not a Bitcoin calling service, not giving you market advice, but we want you to think about it when you do actually start trading and not simply practice trading these things. The way you practice is the way you will play. So think about it. I think that's pretty good advice, but that's me. And your money is your money. And when you get ready to trade real money for real, then you do what you want to with it. That's where we are, folks. As we end the day, you have questions, problems, concerns. We always love to hear from you. CW@chartingwealth.com. God bless, my friends. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.